Hey guys, Britman117, welcome back to the channel and a very untidy studio, which I hate, but don't worry, I've got a plan and I'm going to tell you all about it. If you watched my video from a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that I'm in the middle of processing a rather large amount of eBay hauls, and unfortunately this always tends to clutter up the studio. I'm also in the process of reorganizing the display shelves in an effort to try and get more sets out on display. As many as I do have on display, I still have a lot that are unopened in boxes that I've never built, and also lots that I have put together through hauls but don't have the space for. So I'm currently reorganizing the shelves. That's why the place is a bit of a mess. This pile of boxes here, that's the next lot of eBay hauls that I'll show you. They've all been opened. As you can see here, these are all the files I've got of every box that I've opened. So I've filmed all of the openings for you, and I'm just in the process of stripping them down, putting them through the washing machine, and then rebuilding them to see how many sets I can complete from these hauls to create another haul video like the one I showed you a couple of weeks ago. But that is a very long process. So in the meantime, I thought I'd make this video showing you some of what goes on in between the videos. If we move over to my filming table where you see most of the videos shot from, we've got this box here. It's been on my to-do list to sort for ages. All these sets have been put together, cleaned, and I want them on display. I don't have some of them on display. There's also a lot of figures in there. We'll come back to this later in the video and I'll show you exactly what's in there. Right now we'll move on to the shelving, because this was a big problem, space. So I've been slowly reorganizing these shelves. As you can see, I've started getting the warthogs out on display. I'd kind of like to have one of every warthog that I've got in its own separate cubicle, but unfortunately that does take up a lot of space. So we'll have to see how much space I've got. If we move over to the big shelves, I've just recently added an extra one of these. So this is why I've got some room to play around. I've started by having a big reshuffle here. I put this, it's not really a custom build, is it? Because this is the two sets that you can combine, the Warthog Resistance and the Battlescape. I just like it. I added some foliage. I just think it's a good example of what you can do with these Battlescapes. So I've decided to keep that on display. I've also got my custom build, which is a very old build now. I don't really want to take it apart. I think it looks nice on display. So again, that gets its own shelf. If we move right over to the bottom right, these are all the original Halo Wars sets from 2009 and 2010. This is just too overcrowded. It looks too cluttered, so I really need to gain an extra shelf for these, because there's some other sets that I still need to add to that selection or collection. If we move up, we've got one of the two Reach shelves. Now the Countdown set should be in here. It was in there, but I took it home to refurbish the stickers, which has been done, so I need to bring it back. But that's on the to-do list. That AA gun will come out. That's the one I showed in one of the most recent videos with the stickers on it, so that will stay on display, because these two AA guns don't have a full set of stickers on them. So one of these will go back into a box and the one with stickers will replace them. Moving over, we've got the Halo 4 shelf, which as it stands is probably going to stay as it is, but I do want to move it. Now this is the new set of shelves. I moved the Ultimate Assault and High Ground build, which is not all of it, it's just the bit that fits in there. This needs a rebuild. I think I'm going to rebuild this from the ground up just to improve it. It was a long time ago I built this, and I'm confident that with the extra parts I've collected since, I can make this better. And once the high ground is complete, I'll add all of the Versus sets like the one you can see there to it, and it will just become a display. Above it, we've got the Halo 3 sets, including the new elephant, the elephant sand nest. This is how this is going to stay for now. I'm happy with this, so this will stay. I'll leave it like that. I don't want to over clutter it anymore. The only thing I might add in is maybe another aerial vehicle which I could hang. Above it, we've got the first of one Halo Wars sets. Previously, these were all over the place, these sets, so I wanted to bring them all together as a Halo Wars display. As you can see, peeling stickers again, so I need to refurbish that. I've got all the stickers, but sticker refurbishment takes ages. So it's one of those jobs that I've got to be in the mood for and have the time for. Until then, it will stay as it is. It is missing a figure. I need to get that from home, but aside from that, I think it's pretty much all there. And we've got the rest of the Halo Wars vehicles like the Kodiak. I showed you I got the figures for that recently. We've got the elephant. This isn't the elephant I showed you in the video just recently. This was the original one I had. And then we've got the Hornet and Vampire set, which is fully stickered up. That was a set I got brand new, so the stickers are all in good order. And then we've got the Vulture, which again, relatively recent addition, generously supplied by Mega Chief. On the shelf above, this is going to be my NMPD shelf. These were on smaller cube units previously. Now there's not a lot there at the moment, but I do intend to expand it. I've got some more of those NMPD Hornets and Cruisers, so I'm keen to get those built and put them all up here. Mega Chief Constructs has also kindly agreed to put together one of the bases from the NMPD Pelican for me, so I can have the base in there, put one of the Hornets on it, and again get a few of those Hornets hanging up as well and create a really nice NMPD display. So that shelf is reserved for that. We've got more Halo Wars sets on the end there, as well as my custom build, and then we've got the 2 shelves of Halo Infinite sets. Obviously you can see we've got the UNSC sets on the left and the Banished sets on the right. Back to the Halo Wars, which will mirror the Halo Wars sets on the other end of the display. And then up above, we've got the Halo 5 shelf, which I'm not planning on changing at the moment, but I'm sure I will tweak in the future as I add more sets to it. And then we've got another red versus blue display with all of the original Snowbound sets. So this is pretty much everything Snowbound, plus I added a Phantom and some Banshees just to make it a little bit more interesting as a display. I do have this shelf available here, which may well be where I put more of the Halo Wars sets from the bottom right shelf on, but I'm not going to commit to that just yet. What I'd like to do first is get some of these newly refurbished sets and older sets packed away in these bins. As you can see, the green stuff's just in a box. They were in this style box, but they got too big, so they couldn't fit in the box anymore. As you can see, all of these boxes are pretty much filled to the brim with different coloured sets from different factions. Once I've refurbished them, I put them in here. That way I've got them if I want to use them for a large-scale diorama, or if I want to build out of a certain colour, I know where it all is. Plus I know how many I've got, so I don't deplete every single set by using one individual piece of that set and then find that I can't complete a single one or two because I've used all those parts. That's a mistake I've made in the past, which is why now I store them all built and complete. Although to be fair, they're not all complete because sometimes I can't complete them. So every now and then I go through these bins and I amalgamate all of the partially completed ones to create additional fully completed ones, which in itself is quite a fun task on a rainy afternoon. As you can see, the dark UNSC green bin is absolutely full. There's no way I'm going to fit that Pelican or that additional Reach truck in there. So I've bought some new larger bins. Hopefully these new larger bins will be able to take a lot of stuff, even 7 Phantoms. So let's see how I get on with that. Well, there's 3, and as you can see, that already fills the bottom of the bin. Thankfully, they're quite tall bins. And there we go. 7 Phantoms. I did have to take the tail pieces off. That was more a precaution than anything. I didn't want them to snap in there, so I took all the tails off of the Phantoms just to allow them to fit in there easier. And more importantly, I can still close the lid. And the reason I want the lid to be able to close is because I don't want them getting all dusty again. I've committed hours and hours and hours putting all these things back together. And remember, not one of those Phantoms was bought brand new complete. They all came from boxes like that in pieces. And those 7 Phantoms may have come from 10 or 15 different hauls. And I managed to complete that many from those hauls. And after the Phantoms, I want to move on to this old school UNSC green box. I don't want it to stay in this cardboard box. That just isn't really strong enough. These sets, when you've got lots of them, are quite heavy. So I want them in a decent plastic tub, which I'll transfer them all over to now. And as you can see straight away, way more room in here. You'll also notice that I dismantle the sets. That just makes it easier to get more stuff into the box. All the wings come off, and it also allows you to pack it in a bit better so they don't move around as much in the box, and that just makes it much better. And as you can see, plenty of room to spare, so all those new hauls that I'm getting I can actually add to these boxes. But now that they're done, what am I going to do with them? Ideally I want them out of this room, which is why I've been working on a second room as storage. Now prepare yourself, because this is ugly. Okay, so this is another room in the building that I have my studio in, which has historically just been used as a junk room for work. And as you can see, it is filled with junk. It needs a major clear out. But bear in mind, the studio that you see on a daily basis looks like this before I transformed it into what it is now. So all it's going to take is a bit of time and effort. I've already started clearing out. As you can see, this back section here, all of that table needs to come out, and it's not lined or anything. So I don't want to spend a fortune on this. I just want to get it airtight. As you can see, it's open to the rest of my workshop, so it gets really dusty, mucky and disgusting. Everything on those shelves there is actually boxed sets, like the Havoc staffs I used for the Phantom. They're all in there. So on the left hand side of that shelving, all those boxes are just empty boxes. On the right hand side, it's all sets that I've got to be used for building with, and then all of that stuff's got to go, all of this stuff's got to go. I also need to replace the lighting, and most importantly, I need to extend these walls up to the roof or the ceiling of this building, because I just can't have it open to all the muck and grime that the rest of the workshop creates. As you can see, this hasn't been cleaned forever. That's pretty much 20 years worth of muck and grime that's just settled everywhere. So all of this needs to be really cleaned. It's a massive job. It's going to take ages, and I'm generally trying to do it with stuff that I've got lying around, so I don't want to spend a fortune turning this into a house level room. It's just got to be sealed off and tidy enough that it doesn't make me miserable when I come in here like it does now. So this is how far I've got, which isn't very far at all if we're being honest, but this wood I've used to line it. This is shop wall racking where you can hang hooks from, which is ideal for when I eventually move my new in-box collection, because things like the blind bags and stuff that you could actually hang, I can hang like they would be in a shop. So that would be nice. It needs painting, it needs finishing off. This wall still needs to be done, and all the rest of the junk needs to be moved out. That table with the slats on it and the oil on top, all of that needs to be dismantled, but it will get done. It's a big job, and I don't have a lot of time, but it's going to be well worth it. It's going to mean I can bring all of those boxes over that I've got the complete sets in them. It also means I can move my new in-box collection over here once I've sealed it off and it's got a door and everything, and I put the new lighting in. I'll paint the floor, I'll paint the walls, I'll wipe all of the rest of the dust and muck down, and it will be as nice, hopefully, as the other room. So that's my ongoing project that I do whenever I get a minute. Till then, right now, it's where I'm going to put those plastic tubs just to get them out of my way. So back over to the nicer room and a box of green UNSC sets. This box has been overfilled for ages, and it's been a pain because there's so many things I want to put in there, like the truck and that Pelican, and also from the recent hauls 2 weeks ago, this Kodiak, as well as an elephant. So there's a lot of stuff I want to fit in this box. So we'll see how we get on, but first things first, get the easy stuff in. I've got these 4 Scorpion Stings that go nice and flat along the bottom. We've also got some of the AA guns, or the cannons or turrets from the Orbital Banshee Blitz set. I think only 1 or 2 of those are fully complete. The others are still waiting for parts from additional hauls, so I can complete those. But they're great little builds, those guns, especially for if you want to use them in large-scale dioramas just to dot around the place. As you can see, I've also got another Lights and Sounds Hornet. We've got a Falcon there, a few mongoose, and then also loads of these builds. These are the terrain builds that come with the Spectre. I've ended up with loads of them. For whatever reason, I put them all together. So there we have it. That's everything in that box, and there's still room to spare, which I'm really pleased about because I'm almost guaranteed to get additional sets to go in there at some point. As for the little train builds, I've decided I'm just going to take those apart and put them into my parts collection because, one, the figures will come in handy, so I can put them with all the rest of my figures, which I'm currently going through, which again, we'll get onto in a minute in this video. And then as for the terrain builds, well, they're just handy for doing other things. I just don't think I'm going to want those built. I think I featured them in a video at some point, and now they just need to be put back into parts. That bag was filled with the parts from the second elephant that I had, so they'll go in with the rest of my figures as well. And speaking of figures, let's take a look at that box that I talked about earlier on. So first off, I brought in some sets from home that are either complete or mostly complete, but I want them on display. So this is the Infinity Armor Bay. I've got one on display, complete. As you can see, this one's missing the rig for the Spartan, but I want to put it on the shelf with the other one that I've got on display. It's got its own cube, and I want to add that to it, so when I get the second rig, I can complete 2. I just think they look good together. There's lots of them on the infinity, so why not display two together? This is something from the haul video I did 2 weeks ago. I forgot to film it. I said that I'd never had one of these before. I'd never built one, and I got this one for a good price in its box, so I put it together, and as you can see, it's nice. It's just immaculate, no pieces missing, and I'm so pleased to get this on my shelf. It's the last Covert Ops or ODST color set that I didn't have, so that kind of completes that line in my collection. So I'll definitely have to find space in one of the cubes to display both the tank and the vampire, which again, the vampire I think is unique to this set. I have built the other version of the vampire a few times, but never won this set, and I didn't realize they're actually quite different builds. I assumed it was going to be the same build in a different color, but they are unique builds. I could just see there's an actual piece missing off the back of that, but it's not missing, it's dropped off in the bag. I can see it in the bag, and also in the bag you can see it comes with both figures, the two ODSTs and the Brown Elite. So really pleased to get that set, can't wait to get it on display. It will be on display probably by the next time you see a room tour. Now this one's a bit unusual because most people hate this set. I don't really have any first-hand experience of it. I wasn't collecting it when it came out. Everybody says it falls apart easily. Yes, it does. It is complete. The other bits are in the bag because it's been in transit. But I want it on display because it's part of the mega history, and that shelf that was overflowing with Halo Wars sets is about to be overflowing even more because once again I've got all the figures and their weapons, so that is a complete set. It just needs the stickers putting on, which I do have a new sticker sheet for that, so I just need to apply them. It can join the Halo Wars sets. Another thing I was trying to do was complete the line of these old Cyclops, and again, lots of people hate them, lots of people love them. All I know is they go for an astronomical price on eBay these days. I've collected lots of desert, Arctic and jungle ones over the years, just randomly in hauls, but none of the other ones. So thankfully I managed to pick this one up in a haul, which the haul was less than what you pay for that set on its own, so that was a good result. I decided to complete a jungle one because they've just been in boxes until now, and also the Arctic one, which I'm quite pleased with. That little flame piece on the end of it has been in with my orange translucent pieces for years, and I thought it was a Lego piece until I went to build this, and I thought I recognised that part, and thankfully I hadn't thrown it away or chucked it in with the Lego scraps. So I was able to complete the Arctic one as well. So I'll need to find a place to start lining these up. I do have the green jungle one complete, but you'll probably know if you watch my videos, I used that for a video last week, so it's not with these. Another old set was the original Wombat drone. I don't have the figure for this. I think it's the Rookie, because Buck I think comes with the newer version, but this one came with Rookie. So at some point I'll need to keep an eye out and get the Rookie, or maybe it'll just come my way in a haul one day, but I'll get that drone out on display anyway, so I can just add the figure to it when I come across it. And everything else left in the box is figure based. I have never collected figure sets. Where I live, I've mentioned it 100 times before, Mega has never been sold. So the only access I've ever had to Mega was online, and through Amazon they didn't tend to sell, from my knowledge, blind bags or heroes and things like that. And I also wasn't collecting pre-2015, so all of the early Halo heroes, blind bags, or any of these fire teams just weren't on my radar generally, and also they weren't something that overly appealed to me. In the early days I was very biased towards vehicle sets. Regret that now, because if you want to collect anything figure based, it's really expensive. So what I'm showing you here is all of the fire teams that I was able to create. I wondered, rather than paying extortionate eBay prices, I've got literally boxes full of figures, and I also had lots of flags, and I thought, I wonder how many of these fire teams I can actually complete. And these are all the fire teams I was able to complete. I've got all of the terrains for them and everything. Some of them don't have the plant pieces, the foliage pieces. That was simply because I need to add them. They weren't at home where I was putting these together, so I need to do that, and then I can get them all on display. So I think in the end I managed to complete 4 or 5 fire teams just from going through my figure collection and going through my spare parts. I was able to put them all together, which I was really pleased with, because fire teams generally are just expensive on the aftermarket. Some of them are ludicrously expensive. So that's something I'd like to continue doing into the future. I'd like to get all of them, but I'm not paying £150 for 4 or 5 figures and a couple of small base plates. So we'll just see what comes my way. As for the rest of what's in this box, I also wanted to try and collect all of the old blind bag and hero figures if possible. Now, heroes wise, I don't think I've ever come across a single hero figure in a haul ever. People obviously know what they are and hold on to them, but figures wise, I wasn't really aware what I had in terms of blind bag series or what just came from the sets, because traditionally I've just chucked all the figures in boxes. So I've got boxes and boxes of different factions of figures. So I thought I'll go online, see what I can find in terms of armor packs and weapons packs and troop packs and so on. And I just went through the list. I went right back to the beginning, watching videos and doing as much research as I could. And basically I managed to complete a whole bucket load of troop packs, armor packs, weapons packs. I could not believe how many. You can see these are all different old articulation weapons packs and armor packs. It was really fun, really fun. This is what I was doing through the summer when I wasn't creating videos, when I had a little bit of time. And it made me feel really good because it didn't cost me a penny for anything you see here. Well, it did, but obviously it's been paid for over the last 10 years and it's just been sat in boxes, which was nice to make good use of it. So I want all of this out on display. I've already kind of started because I've got a small figure area here. So these are all of the current blind bags, shall we say. There are more current blind bags than this, which I do have. I need to open them and get them on display, but again, it's a space thing. The heroes that I have are only the more recent series. I can't remember if it started at maybe series 12 when Infinite came out. So on the shelf above I've got 4 sets of heroes and I don't have anything prior to that. I might have the odd 1 or 2 that I'd picked up from eBay years ago, new in their box, maybe 3 in total, but that's it. So there's a lot of heroes work to be done. As you can see, I do have Series 18, which I need to open at some point, and I've also got Series 17 hiding behind there. And they are the legitimate Series 17, not the questionable ones. There's also more blind bags off to the left there as well, which need to be opened as well. I've completely lost track of which ones I have and haven't opened, so I'll go through that at a later date, and when I do, I'll be sure to make content on it. But ultimately, I want everything that's in that box displayed similar to what I've got here. Blind bags, troop packs, armor packs and everything, which is obviously going to take up a lot of room. I also did this. This is how I started and then I carried on with what's in the box. So this is how I got on with series 1 to 6 in blind bags. Obviously, if there's a empty base plate, that shows a figure I am missing from some of those series. I have since obtained some of those figures. I just need to go back through and see which series they belong to. The other thing I want to do is, you can see I've got my collection of old school drop pods here, which I'm very pleased with. Another thing I wasn't interested in was the metallic series drop pods, mainly because the drop pods are just naff. But I've realised now, I think I've got a lot of those drop pods and the figures to go with them. So I'll add the drop pods and the figures to those shelves as well for the metallic series. I think it means I might have to move out some of these custom builds that I've got down here. I quite like them on these shelves, but I'm just going to have a think about what space I've got and what's best to use it for. I could put all those figures on that big shelf up there because it's quite high up, difficult to see, and they're quite big sets. So if I put a stage at the back, I can put some along the back and some along the front, so you'll still be able to see them all. I could put them up there, but I quite like the weapons being up there, so I think I'll leave that as is. But ultimately, they have to go somewhere, and they will go somewhere. And I will make videos on everything in that box that you didn't get to have a good look at there. I will make a video showing you all of those sets, so don't worry, I will get back to you on that. And then the final thing that I wonder if many people have been wondering is this chief with a really large head. If you don't know, this is a limited edition Jakks Pacific 32-inch Master Chief. And when I say limited, It's because not only does it come with the Chief's helmet, it also comes with an actual Master Chief head sculpt underneath. So when you take his helmet off, you actually get to see the Master Chief. I'd imagine most people don't even know this exists. They'll manage to get it for a good price on eBay, and I'm happy to share with you exactly what it looks like. For all of those that don't want to know what the Master Chief looks like, turn off now. And for those of you that do, here you go.